Another feature of SARTopo that some people will probably find priceless and other people probably won't care so much about is the ability to mix map layers and kind of create a map that curtails to what you're trying to get out of it. And so right now I have a basic NAIP imagery map, and it doesn't give me any street signs, but I definitely have a satellite image where I can see woodland areas versus farmland right here, but it doesn't really tell me the terrain in a three-dimensional view. And so I can add another map layer that might give me an idea of what the terrain is more like, whether that be a topographical map or this layer down here called shaded relief. And then if you look, it does nothing so far because it says 0% transparency or 0% view right now. And as I increase this, if I take it all the way up to 100%, it's going to block my base layer. But as you can see right now, you can kind of see the contours of the Earth. But if I lower this and mix them, I can still see my satellite imagery, but I can kind of see the ridge line now, where if I drop it all the way down to 0, I can't really tell that there's necessarily a ridge line there. But if I bring it up just even a little bit, I can see just a little bit more of an outline. I can see that right here this land's a little bit higher than this, and depending on where you're at, this is more of a flatland, farmland area, but if you were in a very forested, woody area, you might need to take into consideration the topography a little bit when making search assignments. You also can get a little bit more information, like I talked about earlier, by using some of these other map overlays. Like this gives me my 40-foot contours. And Map Builder overlay, if available, adds outlines to water, trails, gives me street names, roads and trails. There's a state park right here, and so this shows all the different trails in that state park with the red lines and the orange lines. I can also flip between different map layers or even third, fourth map layers. I can throw in the USGS topographical map here, get rid of my shaded relief, and increase this. And maybe this is just something where you want it there as an additional map layer to just flip back and forth between instead of leaving it as a mixture. I could probably get rid of this map builder overlay and 40-foot contour right now because the topo map has its own contour lines. And then I could mix and match this with the satellite imagery. Maybe I might not realize, like down here, that we have a swampy area if I'm looking at just my satellite image. But if I take a moment and mix them a little bit, I get a little bit of a better idea that, hey, this wooded area is pretty much all swamp, or could be depending on the time of the year. That's just something to play with, mix and match with. You also have the ability to check out average sun exposure for a day like today on average. So you can see the cool areas of hillsides that don't get a lot of sun exposure. You can see the hot areas that could play into your search strategies with scent if you're planning a search. You may also like to look at something like the wind plot and kind of see the current or forecasted wind over the next 36 hours. It gives you direction, so you can tell that the wind, what direction the wind is blowing, and you can also see, based upon this legend, how fast that is. You can get temperature ranges and precipitation forecasts as well, but I don't use those as much, especially since these features are not available with SARTopo offline. Just something to play around with.